I know that we're going to have some people that probably think that when we say 12 o'clock, we really mean 12 o'clock. So I'm sure we'll have some more coming in, but I'm going to go ahead and get started because I want to, I'd like to use a little bit more than just 5 minutes, maybe 7 or 8 here. It is a great privilege for me to be able to introduce you all to some of the folks that we have today. And before I get started, I want to thank my partners, Andrew Diaz here, Marina Ludovici and Paul Bain aren't here yet, but I'm sure they will be. There's Paul back there, and there's Marina, okay. But they were part of helping to make this possible today. And so the two organizations that we're here to talk about today are two great organizations. And I think everybody in this room is a kindred spirit when it comes to talking about property rights. And we looked around for folks that we thought would be interested in what is going to be said today. And so you all were on the invitation list for that reason. The two organizations are the Pacific Legal Foundation and the Coalition for Property Rights. And let me tell you a little bit about both of them. Pacific Legal Foundation is a public interest law firm. It is the oldest and biggest conservative, libertarian public interest law firm in the United States. And if some of you don't know what a public interest law firm is, law firms are businesses like every other business is, and we have to make money practicing law. But public interest law firms are able, because they're 501c3 corporations, and am I right about that, Jim?
Yes.
It is 501c3. So they are able to take on cases that are in public interest, cases that involve property rights issues, cases that may not be cases that would make a profit for a law firm, but they're important from the standpoint of defending property rights and bringing issues of great importance to the courts. And in Pacific Legal Foundation, I can't begin to tell you all the cases that these folks have appeared on in the U.S. Supreme Court, but they're legion. And they are involved in virtually every time that a property rights issue comes to the Supreme Court, and really generally a rights issue. We're focusing on property rights today, but Pacific Legal Foundation is even broader than that, and they've been involved in issues that involve other private rights. Mike Stetson is here from Stewart. He is Mike is over here, and Jim Burling is at that table. Mike is at the Atlantic Center. So even though the name is Pacific Legal Foundation, there is actually an office in Florida, and there are other offices around the United States. And I would mention some of the cases that they've been involved in, but I'll let them do that. I can just tell you that my wife and I have supported PLF, and my law firm has supported PLF for a long time. And we're very proud to be associated with them, and we think that they do a great service. The second organization is one that I found out about this organization in November of 2001. I got the first email from Doug Downey. Doug, where are you? Right over here. I got the first email from Doug Downey in November 2001, and I don't know why I saved it, but I saved it because it came from a guy, and I didn't know anything about him at the time, but he was passionate about property rights. And so I just thought, well, I'm going to put that in a folder, and just keep track of it. I didn't know what I was going to get any more of them or not, or how many of them I would get, but I've gotten emails from Doug ever since then, and they are sensational. And if nothing else happens today, I think you should get on the CPR email list, because Doug writes passionately about property rights. So anyway, I kept getting these emails. Doug quoted Madison in one of them, and I thought that was great. And every time I would get a great email from Doug, I would send him an email back to just congratulate him and tell him how much I appreciated that. Then in August 23rd of 2003, I got an email from Doug, and at the bottom of the email, after he went through all these property rights issues, he said, the only answer to overregulation is to create a political reality which will make government quake in its boots at the thought of infringing upon any individual's sacred property rights. And I thought, dadgum, this guy writes passionately. That was something I wish I had said myself. So I called Doug on the phone. I said, Doug, I've never met you, but I want to meet you. So I rode over to Orlando, and Doug and I had lunch at the golf club over there. And I have enjoyed the relationship that I've had with Doug ever since then. Then Carol Saviak was hired as the executive director. And I thought, gosh, can there be another person like Doug? And then along comes Carol. And Carol is genuinely a pit bull with lipstick. And what I've seen Carol do since she's been the executive director of CPR is that she organizes groups of people. Sometimes Carol will get a turnout of 200 or 300 people at a public, at a city commission meeting or a county commission meeting to object to some of the silly policies or ordinances that these local commissions want to enact. I read one, I can't remember all the details, I'm sure Carol remembers it. It had to do with septic systems. It would have been amounted to about a $15,000 per household tax if it had gone through, and I think Carol was very instrumental in stopping that from happening. And but the problem that we're seeing, and I know I'm speaking to the choir right now, but just to fire you all up, the problem that we're having is that we've got people at city commission level, county commission level, who never took high school civics, or if they did, they never learned anything. And they're making decisions that affect private property rights without any regard to the consequences. And some I've met genuinely do not care about the law. They have a level of arrogance that's beyond comprehension. So anyway, what Carol has done over in the Orlando area is organize groups of people. In fact, I would say that Carol is truly a community organizer. of very high quality, and one on our side of the line of scrimmage. But anyway, she has organized people to stop this kind of abuse. So what our goal is today is to, first of all, introduce every one of you to CPR and to introduce you to Pacific Legal Foundation so that you come to know the people in these organizations and the organizations themselves and what they're all about. And the second thing is that we want to begin to build a network of people who care about property rights. And the importance of that is to, what Carol has done over in the Orlando area, if someone is running for public office and they're pro-property rights, Carol gets the word out. And I have called and talked to Carol on the phone to find out, and I'm not talking about whether they just pay lip service to it, but whether they've lived in such a way and acted in such a way that we can be confident that these are people that care about property rights. And so she's done a great job of connecting those people. So what we want to do is here in the west coast of Florida begin to build that network of people who care about property rights. And so we want to engage with PLF, and we want to engage with CPR, and we hope and pray to God we can find another Carol Saviak to open an office here in Tampa and do in this area what she's been able to do in Orlando. So those are the reasons why we're there today. I'd like to turn this over to Doug, who is truly a great American, and Doug is going to open us with an invocation. Thanks.